Hi, this is Soyo, Joyo, Jojo. People call me different things. Back again to talk about Cronos zkEVM. Another how-to video on Amply Finance. So like last time, I'll be showing you from the Crypto.com DeFi app, but you can view this from another browser. I have it bookmarked or on Amply Finance right here. You want to make sure this URL in the top is amply.finance. You always want to make sure you're on the right dApp. The previous video, we went over supplying tokens. So you can see on the dashboard, right now I'm supplying Cronos zkEVM or zkCRO, 200,000. I'm earning 2.1% APR and also earning preAMP, which is their reward token. I'm borrowing Vino USD, VUSD, and I'm also earning preAMP from that. preAMP is the reward token. I'll go over that a little bit in this video. Over here on markets, you can see all the different tokens that Amply currently supports. So they support zkCRO, VUSD, VETH, native CRO, native ETH, and native US dollar coin. On all of these, you can see the different utilizations, supply APR. Also on these tabs, you can check out the borrow info. So, for example, Vino USD is to borrow 4.48% APR. And also, a little trick, it's the way to earn the most preAMP by borrowing Vino USD. preAMP is going to be the reward token. So over here on the dashboard, you can go to My Earnings and you can see how much preAMP you've earned. preAMP will be convertible into AMP, their token, after their TGE, their token generation event. You can claim this. I'm not going to claim this because it takes gas to claim it. You can just sit here, but I claim it once every week or two. Over here on your dashboard, before you want to borrow a token, you want to look at a few things here. So you can see I have about 16,000 in assets supplied up here, and I've borrowed about 9,774 assets, and my total available to borrow is the maximum, about $12,000. What that is this is the health factor. So this is one of the things you want to look at before you borrow anything. So my health factor is 1.31. They consider a health factor of 3. And what that is your health factor, if it goes below 1, you would be liquidated. So basically, you can borrow up to different amounts. So on here, you can see like on zkCRO, there's a reserve factor and a liquidation penalty. So if I was liquidated, I would basically pay 10% fee. And they keep a 15% reserve factor. So I can actually on zkCRO loan up to 75%, and then at 80% I would be liquidated. Some of these are different, like on VUSD, you can see that the max LTV is 80 and then liquidation threshold 85%. And a reserve factor of 7.5%. So basically, because I'm borrowing only a stable coin, so VUSD, I have less risk of being liquidated. The only way I can be liquidated is if CRO goes down to a point where I would basically drop to a 1.0. So I check every day, if my health factor drops too much, I just pay some back, or I add some more Crow as collateral. If you're, though, borrowing something like ETH, it can get a little more risky, because say ETH goes up 10% and you're supplying Crow. Well, what you're borrowing, you might have borrowed $2,000, but now you owe back $3,000 as you owe the same amount of ETH. That's why, if you're learning this, I recommend you borrowing stablecoins, VUSD, USD, or if you supply zk Crow, you could borrow Crow. So I'm going to show you how to borrow Crow here. I'm going to go over here to supply and borrow. So I've supplied 200,000 zk Crow. So I'm going to go here to borrow. And I'm going to borrow some Crow. So Crow right now is 4.11% APR. These do fluctuate. And you can see that I can borrow right now 2,200 USD worth of Crow. I'm going to borrow 1,000 Crow, which is currently 80 bucks. So I have plenty to cover that. And I'm going to hit borrow here. It's going to sign the transaction. And because it's zk Crow, it's very quick. Now that Crow is available already in my wallet, you can see down here under tokens borrowed, I've also borrowed 1,000 Crow. This is paying preAMP, and it's also, I'm paying 4.11%. If I want, I could borrow more, or I could repay. If I repay this, I'm going to repay this right now, just for purposes of demonstration. After that, okay, it failed. The reason this probably failed is I've probably had to pay a little interest since I borrowed that. So basically, I'm going to, let's repay $750. It should work. Yeah. So what I'm actually going to have to do is I'm going to go out, and this will update here. Yep, it updated there. So what I'm actually going to have to do, yeah, see how it's 250.00001? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go get some extra Crow, because this APR is compounding continuously. So I don't actually have 250.001. That's why that got an error. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful. There's lots of different options you can do with Amply. And